why you work so hard? Because I'm trying to get some money, punk. Man, why you keep calling these people? Because I'm trying to get what I deserve.
If you haven't wrote down your goals, if you never envision it, it will never happen. So if you haven't wrote down your goals, you need to manifest that and speak it to existence, because the Bible says, speak those things that are not as though they are.
Everything that you've ever wanted, everything that you've ever desired, any dream, any aspiration, all of it is now going to take shape.
Knew the importance of keeping your job because your job is your first business partner.
Wall Street looks like us now. It's a battle cry. Wall Street looks like us now. It's the equalizer.
If you can start training your brain to start thinking about solutions to problems and challenges rather than letting them slow you down, you are going to dominate this life.
And when I learned that selling is not about convincing people to do something they don't want to do, selling is about empowering people and freeing people from their inhibitions so that they can do something they already desire to do.
I cried too much to settle. I prayed too long to settle. I fought through too much to settle. I didn't make it through COVID to settle. I'm ready to step into everything that God's got for me.
Sock Passe, what's going on, world? Welcome to another episode of the Team Sock Passe podcast. My name is Glad.
And I'm your boy, Rob. We are your favorite Team Sock Passe podcast show where we interview great entrepreneurs from all sectors of industry. And remember, subscribe, share, comment below. Subscribe, share, comment below. Glad, tell them who we got.
But before we do that, I don't want him to feel a type of way, so we're going to do this together.
Oh,
like
sir.
Like we did at the Black Money Forum, right? Because I don't want to hear it. Ready?
Yeah, he
ready?
was all in.
Yeah. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Sock Passe. There it is. We got a great show for you guys today. This is our brother. It's been a minute. We've been trying to get him here. We finally made it happen.
Got it, man.
This guy.
I love how y'all setting that up like it was me.
Yeah.
We was trying to get him here. We've been trying.
No, you're right.
He's got the acronym ASK, always seek knowledge. This guy is powerful. He's all about the mindset, making you think differently, getting you ready for generational wealth. Our brother Storm Leroy of Employed Millionaire. What's going on, my brother?
Appreciate it, man.
We made it.
It's a pleasure.
Pleasure, brother.
We made it.
I look forward to this, man. And what we're doing
Ooh.
right now, we talking legendary.
Yes.
So I want all y'all to be prepared. This is going to be those ones you're going to have to sit back and watch over and over and over and share it. The time is now. We here. We in that moment in space and time. Things is different, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Things is different.
In InvestFest, you just came back recently. We spoke a little bit about it, but you wanted to really get into it when the mics got hot. How was that experience?
InvestFest was legendary. It was monumental. It's something that let me know that we're all living in a space and time where you would look back and go, do you remember where you was at when this happened, when that happened, when the change started? And seeing 12,000 people all under one roof, ready to be educated financially and changing their life and changing their legacy, let me know what's happening now, y'all. Like, we're in that time. That time where I wish we would all come together and do this. I wish we would all do this. Nah, the wishing is over. You just have to accept that some people are not gonna ever get in that space, but you need to be in the room and around those that are ready to do it. That's the thing. The biggest problem we have is we start looking to other people and going, oh man, I wish he would or we would, meaning our family and closest friends. We covet those that is closest to us. When you really need to step out, because there's a whole nother community out there making moves. And I was around 12,000 of them.
Wow.
Brother, I cannot unsee what I saw. I can't unhear the things I've heard. And the people that I realize now that we all are touching. Like, I didn't expect to be touching 60-something-year-old, moms and grandparents and them coming up to me and 11, 12, 13, 14-year-olds telling me they listening to me, following me, and their parents bringing them out. Like, when there's ever been a time, we can think about, like, my dad, he'd take us to wrestling matches and stuff like that as a kid, because there wasn't no financial literacy going on. Or you got parents bringing their kids to Invest Fest, financial literacy spaces.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
big and different, man.
That's big.
Times
man.
are changing.
Times are
Yes.
changing. And you guys are making it sexy too. Bruh. Y'all on stage like this. They're talking about like this is like the new age superstar celebrity. I'm like, yo, how does that I couldn't even Yo, that's
Bro,
what's up, man.
You know, so ill about that. You know, I used to be an artist, right? So I toured and I've been on stage.
Okay.
And I always said to myself, there's nothing that could top the feeling of when you get on stage and, you know, people want to sing your songs and all that stuff.
Right.
And then when I got out of that space, I always felt that high was missing. I would look at old stuff I've done and I said, nothing ever can beat that feeling. But I'm telling you, now being on stage and providing this information and this knowledge, man, that don't even compare to this. Like, this is the ultimate feeling, being able to know that you're talking to someone. And I always say, I'm really not talking to you. I'm talking through you to get to your legacy. That's my main thing. Like, I'm talking to you, but actually I'm talking to so many generations behind you. And this is way better, man. Nothing be, like you said, it's super sexy, but it's scary.
It's scary.
DMs is scary, B.
I can't keep up. It's crazy.
Scary, man,
Nah,
the
that's
stuff
what's up.
that they do and put in there. But I'm like, nah, I'm good.
No doubt. So let's get to it. One of your famous sayings is always let your job be your first business partner.
Yes. Your job is your first
Your job
business
is your
partner.
first business partner. You say that all the time. And so what was your job when you were on the journey of becoming a millionaire?
Yeah, well, it started off for me. I was working for Verizon. And while working for Verizon, I could just go back just a little bit before that. My dad, who worked construction, you know, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. My dad came from the South, working construction, and he would always, you have to go out to look for jobs in the 70s. You know, he would be on job sites, and he ended up working to help build Woodhull Hospital in Brooklyn. So while building that hospital, he got caved in. From the waist down, you know, there was no unions. He wasn't supposed to be on a job. He's a day laborer, like what you see at Home Depot.
Okay.
So they just bring him in and sat him at the kitchen covered in mud. But he would always ask me to take his boots off. You know, I've always tried to hide, didn't want to take his boots off construction. So on that day, when they brought him in money, he calls me and take his boots off. He's in agonizing pain at the kitchen table. I take his boots off. And he says to me, "You know why I asked you to take my boots off?" So I'm like, "No, why?" Says, "Because I don't ever want to see you going through what I'm going through." Like, that hit like a ton of bricks.
How old were you?
I was about 8 years old. But he was always like, he was telling me right there, this is what hard work gets you. This is what it does. You know, we didn't own our home. Our home, we lived in a brownstone in Bed-Stuy, and we never saw the owner. But the owner was Jewish. He just sent a black guy to come collect the rent. But they would never do any repairs. So our house literally was falling apart. My dad had to fix everything, and we wanted to own the house, but we couldn't. They wasn't gonna sell it to you. So we just kept paying rent. Eventually, there was the 70s. You know, even though they said redlining didn't exist, redlining was still there. It wasn't giving mortgages to people in these areas. And I saw the frustration of that in my household. But while working for Verizon, I knew that I didn't want to work for a company, and that had to be the end of my life, meaning giving them 30, 40 years, because I watched my father go from 220 pounds Hulk to dying at literally 90 pounds and frail, you know, because he had every injury from construction. So once I realized that I wanted to do something else, like buy real estate, and I got my first piece of property, and I said, man, this job allowed me to put this on an application. It allowed me to have a down payment. It allowed me to have good credit score to pay my bills. It allowed me weekends off and days off to go do this. Technically, this job is my business partner. It's my business partner. Once I start looking at that and I realize the cash flow, how much money in cash flow would it take me to make to replace my salary? I said, okay, all I need to do is buy this many properties, and this many properties will replace this salary, and I won't have to work for nobody no more. And from that moment on, I knew the plan, and I was fine and happy with going to work when I used to be miserable going to work, because now I saw the exit. That job was my business partner to get out. And I got out of that job. I left there on Instagram and retired early. They thought I'd be there for 30, 35 years. I went in on Instagram and said, yo, y'all, this is my last day here. I'm out. Signed out. That was the end of it.
So
Now
how long were you working for Verizon?
I worked for Verizon for 25 years. And let me tell you, I posted, in retirement is it 25 years. The thing about it was I didn't realize my plan until 15 years of working for Verizon. I started working there in 95, 96. I didn't realize the plan because I just was there and I got comfortable. And I was like, all right, I'll take the paycheck. Then it hit me like, you can't do this. This isn't what it's about. Your dad didn't give you this gym for this. Then I got hurt on the job. I tore my knee up, ACL, MCL. I had 2 hernia surgeries. I slipped, tore my shoulder, and I started witnessing. This is what started happening to my dad in construction.
Wow.
So I bought that first property in 1999. And in 1999, the great thing about it was I bought a property. The bad thing about it was nobody tells you the other side about when you buy property. They always tell you, yo, buy real estate, get that rent, collect that money. But nobody tells you about being a landlord. Your landlord was the worst thing on the planet for me, B. When I became a landlord, that was another job. And I said to myself, oh, I cannot do this. I had tenants. I had issues. Those people turned out to be my bosses. They could tell me when I could get my money if I didn't do this. I had to wait for them when they felt like paying. I had to, like, everything. They locked out the house. I had to get up 2 a.m. to let people in. This wasn't for me, so I literally stopped buying real estate. Then after I stopped buying real estate, I started realizing, man, the only way this is going to work is money that I don't have to go to work for, which was the cash flow. How can I make money without being a landlord? Out-of-state real estate. So in 2015, that's when I got into investing in out-of-state real estate. Of course, it was a little scary, but I got me a mentor. And I always say, not always say, my mentor told me, but here's the thing. If you want to get to an understanding of something, you need a mentor. The word, just like in a dictionary, the word mentor comes before money. So get yourself one if you're trying to get to the money. Get you a mentor. That's the key. Changed my life. Bought that first property in 2015 with the knowledge of I had a property management company running it. I didn't do anything. All I had to do was go to work. Once I got that property, it cost me, the property was $40,000. I got a mortgage for $40,000. That was about $250 a month. It was Section 8, which I love Section 8 properties, guarantee money because the government's never late. The rent was about $850. So I was making roughly about $500 a month or something like that. So that's $6,000 at the end of the year. It only cost me $8,000 down payment to get the house. So I'm making $6,000 from an $8,000 down payment. That's like 70, 80% return on my money. Already. And people's like, yo, that ain't really a lot of money. But I'm going to tell y'all something. You have to understand that it's never the amount, it's the percentage. If somebody says, if you give me $100, I'm going to give you 80%. I'm giving you $100 all day because I'm making $80.
Right. Absolutely.
So I was making $6,000 off of the $8,000. Once I knew that formula, I knew how many houses it took me to no longer have to work anymore.
What was the first?
My phone is
go ahead, go.
No, you're good.
It's a podcast. We cool. We cool.
Yeah.
Where did you buy the first house out of town?
In Indianapolis.
Okay.
Yeah, Indianapolis. In Indianapolis.
Why?
Okay.
Why in Indianapolis?
That's the thing. See, when you invest in out-of-state real estate, it's never location because the entire United States.
That's your camera right there.
Which one?
It's right in the corner, right here.
Over there, not there. Okay.
Yeah, that's your person. Yeah.
So, Ray, I'm like, all right. So the entire United States is my marketplace. The thing is, you look for deals. You're looking for deals. I don't look at houses as properties. I look at them as assets, and it's a business. Meaning, I look for properties that are tenant occupied. I look for properties that are making money with either Section 8 or long-term tenants. Because if it's a long-term tenant, they've been there for about 2 years is the limit that I go with. And I make sure I get a rent roll that they're never late on rent. Now, if I tell you I want to sell you a business, they have a note. They've never been late on this note for 2 years, but I want to sell you this business, and you're going to make about $7,000 a year with this business, and it'll cost you $8,000 to buy the business. Does it sound like a good or a bad deal? They've never been late on that note payment. Would you buy the business?
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, what if I told you that business is a duplex or a single family home? I'm still buying it. because it's a business. I don't look at it as a property, and I don't have to manage the tenants, deal with the tenants, do anything. Why would they stop paying rent once I buy it? So that's the mindset. Think about your properties as an asset, and you're a CEO. You're not a landlord. You're a CEO running a business. CEOs buy profitable business. I don't keep properties no more than 3 to 5 years. And the reason why is because I don't want to start doing any work on that asset. If something starts to fail, like an HVAC or a roof or something like that, I want to sell it and buy more assets that are now making money, because I don't want to fix an asset knowing I'm losing cash flow. For example, I sold a property I had in Montgomery, Alabama. I bought it for about $60,000. I bought that property for $60,000. The HVAC was going on it. So they said, look, you might as well replace the HVAC for about $8,000. I said, $8,000, I'm making about $8,000-9,000 a year. So if I fix it, I'm lost 1 year profits. So I said, I said, how about fixing it? They said, you can change the solenoids. They'll last for about a year. But how much to fix the solenoids? $600. I said, okay, you fix it, put the new solenoids in, I'm gonna sell the property. That same property I paid like $60,000 for, I sold it for $80,000. Why am I gonna fix it and lose cash flow? What did I do with the $80,000? I went and bought 2 more properties.
Assets. Get more assets.
Assets.
That's crazy.
So you don't believe in long term?
Yes, see, I do believe in long term. See, what I do is I take the cash flow that I make and the profits, and now I invest those in long-term properties. Long-term buy and holds. I have properties in Atlanta.
Okay.
Long-term buy and holds. I have Birmingham, Alabama, which I bought. There's a place, Bigger Pockets, right? I really promote Bigger Pockets, and they owe me some bread. But Bigger Pockets changed my life with investing out of state.
Yeah.
That's a place where 2 million investors hang out, and all we talk about is investing, real estate. So we knew about Amazon opening up in Birmingham before anybody else. And once we found that out, I bought 13 properties in Birmingham. So I bought properties for $40,000, $60,000. They worth $80,000 and $200,000 now. Rent was $600, now it's $1,500, right? So I made a killing out in Birmingham. So now I'm going to keep most of my Birmingham properties. Those are all buy and hold long-term because of the growth. They building a stadium out there. They just injected money in the downtown. Like even now, Indianapolis is doing that, Milwaukee. So the objective is I would buy properties for cash flow, and then I go somewhere and go, all right, I'm going to spend a little extra on this one in Atlanta or Georgia and Decatur because I know that's a long-term hold. That's going to grow. But it's where you're going to get the machine money from, because you're not going to get the machine money from all them buying holes because those are expensive. You know you're making good money, but it's decent money.
Okay.
You ain't making that money to go, I'm going to take this money I'm making in Atlanta or in Decatur or East Point where I have properties at, and now I'm going to buy another property in East Point. No, those properties $400,000 or $500,000. You feel me? So I go to a smaller place like a Indianapolis, which is growing now, like a Ohio. And now I bought that for 40. I sell it for 80. Boom, take that bread. Now I'm gonna go buy something long-term buy and hold.
Gotcha.
But it's where you're gonna start.
So you have wholesalers. Do you have because you're buying these properties sight unseen. So how are you? Are you have wholesalers out now in Alabama? You got a team?
Yeah.
Like
The thing is, it's the same way as you buying a regular home. Like, I don't want nobody to feel like I haven't seen none of my properties. I bought over 35, 36 properties. I've never seen them. The key is this. It's just like you buying a regular property. When you're buying a property, what's the first thing you do? You get an inspector.
Right.
I don't care. I could drop you in any house. You don't know what's going on. The foundation could be bad.
Right.
Plumbing, roof. You don't know. So the thing is, what are you looking at? What are you looking at?
Yeah.
The inspector's job is to tell you if the property's good or bad, not my lying eyes. So now he tells me this property's A, B, C, or D. Cool, I'm with it. But the key to this is remember, I'm buying properties that tenants live in the property already. So I already know it's habitable. I just need an inspector to tell me everything's fine. The foundation's good, the roof is good, the HVAC is good, furnace is good. This property will last you for 5 years. Tenant is in there. I do not want to buy properties that are vacant. You know why? Because now I need to put a tenant in there. What if that take 2-3 months? I'm losing money within 2 or 3 months.
Gotcha. Right.
CEO's not buying nothing that needs to make money.
Right.
I'm buying properties that are making money. So once I know somebody's living there, I don't care what colors the house is. I don't care that, the grocery store's 5 miles away.
Not too much construction.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Because they've been living there 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. They love the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I love the cash flow. That's it. And that's not being mean or malice or anything like that. It's just, it's a business. That person is paying rent. They love it. Who am I to come along and now want to disrupt that business? So the model, people attach too many emotions to real estate, and that's the problem. You get way too emotional with real estate.
No, that's true. Even the sellers.
Now, how does one find those properties with tenants already?
Oh my God, that's a good question. Like, that's all game to the next level. And I tell people, when I look for real estate and to buy real estate, they say it's a shortage of houses. It is, because you're searching the same market as everybody else.
Right.
You're searching in a market where people want to be homeowners. I don't want to be a homeowner, so when I'm on Zillow, I do Zillow, Realtor, Trulia, right, to find houses. I don't want to be a homeowner, so I ain't searching for that. I don't want to do fix and flips. I'm not looking for distress. How many people are typing in Realtor.com tenant occupied properties?
Yeah.
Not many.
Not many.
How many people are typing in Section 8?
No, you're right. Because a
Not
lot of people,
Not many.
a lot of owners, a lot of investors don't want the headache.
See, that's an illusion.
That's an illusion.
That's an illusion. That's a myth. What headache?
Probably that they're not going to pay the rent.
Yeah.
I told you only deal with properties that are guaranteed
Right.
paying rent for 2 years.
Rent roll. Yeah,
and here's the headache, though. I'm not the landlord. Headache, when you say landlord, that comes with a headache.
You got the property manager.
I'm a CEO. I'm not a landlord. I don't have to deal with them. I don't have to talk to them. I don't even see them. I don't even know they real, which is no disrespect to them.
Right.
They don't even know I exist. And that's a good thing.
Very good.
Because you must create a buffer. You want to know your tenants, be friends with your tenants. I don't believe in that. Oh, I even believe that if you have properties in your state and you live in that state, you still should have a property manager. Because people pull on your heartstrings. They get to know you. Now, my landlord, mad cool, yo. It's Christmas time. He gonna understand. Yo, let me give you half the rent. I'll give you next time, because I gotta give, Brian those things I gotta give. And you like, yeah, because your kids play with his kids. Right? But we understand it's a business, y'all.
Business at the end of the day.
You were saying you're the CEO.
Yes.
And there's a buffer. You create the buffer because at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yes, it's a business.
So now, LLCs, right?
Yeah.
You've got, let's get into it.
Yeah, man.
Because you have all of these properties.
Right.
Right? So are you creating LLCs for all of these properties, or you just create one LLC and all of these properties pay the one LLC?
Right. All right.
Expound on that.
All right. See, we want to go, this is what I call the setup. Like they lob it.
Yeah.
So they lobbing it up for me so I can slam dunk it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm obliged by the dunk.
The assist.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, we want to know how you get paid. Yeah.
So I have this system called the 3 must-have LLCs, right? So the thing is, with my LLC structure, which a lot of them who've been in the game for years are literally like, yo, young blood, you come up with this. And it's just by breaking down the math. Well, when you buy properties in an LLC, the normal process is you just get different LLCs, right? But what I come to find out is that the more LLCs you get, you're not building up credit history on the LLC. So, for example, if you say, I want to go get a $2 million loan right now, I'm going to go get a brand new LLC. Why are they going to give it to you? Why are they going to give it to that LLC? Like, what are you showing that you've done in the past? And I've experienced that. Because when I was doing each individual LLCs and then I had a big deal and I said, okay, but I got other properties, other LLCs, they needed to see all this information with these LLCs. And did I have partners? What are the payments on it? Was I late on any payments? Everything's up to date. I was like, nah, that's whack. I said, you need to start having all your real estate with one LLC so I could build credit history on that LLC. And now when they see that LLC and I need $4 million, they're going to go, oh, he got $20 million worth of properties and he's making the payments. He's good for it. He doesn't need anybody to back his LLCs. But now, of course, I know what you're saying. But what about the liability aspects of having so many properties in one LLC?
Correct.
The thing is, now you have a holding LLC. What you do is you take those properties, and that first LLC I call acquisition because it's buying. Now, the next LLC is where you're going to take those properties out of the acquisition, put them in a holding LLC.
Almost like an escrow.
No, totally. I get what you're saying, but I'm going to break that down. You want to have them in a holding LLC to hold the property because you don't want to tarnish the acquisition if something ever happens. Meaning, if the property is in the same LLC as the one with the mortgage and somebody falls and now they sue the LLC, they suing that house, right? So now that one that you've been trying to build this credit up history on, now it's tarnished. It's under a lawsuit. But if you take this property, put it in a separate LLC as a holding, and we hear about holding LLCs by the wealthy and the rich all the time. It's a reason why they have these holding LLCs. And this is one of the main reasons. Because when you have a holding LLC, you're actually protecting yourself and giving you another buffer. And what I mean by that is you're going to get LLCs in these states: Wyoming, Delaware, New Mexico, and Nevada. Those are called anonymity LLCs, anonymity states. Mm-hmm. Even if someone tries to look up the owner of the LLC, no one will be able to see your name. So when they say, yo, he has these in shell companies, LLCs, and he's hiding his identity, yeah, because that's what you want to do.
Right, absolutely.
Because now, here's the thing, right? And I'm going to use this bottle as an example. Mm-hmm. Here's my acquisition. This is the house. Now, the acquisition LLC, this is the house in that one property. I take that house, move it out of the acquisition. It's fine, all the mortgages. I put it in a holding LLC. No houses are in here, but all the mortgages are being paid. So you can always get good loans. The house is in a holding LLC. But let's say you put it in a regular holding LLC with any state that you want, and somebody slips and fall. Man, yeah, they can't sue the LLC. But what if they say, well, let's look up who owns the LLC. Now people see, oh my God, Sock Passe, that's their LLC. Now I could pull a civil suit on you. Mm-hmm. Now I can sue you in a civil suit. And that happens all the time. I always tell people, Google that. But how do you protect your identity? That's when you get one in Nevada, all the other states. And what happens now? This is the anonymity. Nobody see who owns that. So now if someone wants to sue that house, it's not in there, it's in the holding, they can try to sue it. Mm-hmm. But guess what they're gonna get? Whatever the minimum amount of money that the insurance company wanna pay. Somebody fell in front of my property in Brooklyn, tried to sue me for $10 million. $10 million, you know what they got? They got $30,000 that the insurance company said, here, this is what you're gonna get. Wow. That's it. Wow. But now here's the other part of the game. You have the acquisition, you have the holding. I need that bottle of water, brother.
Got it.
Now you have a property management LLC. Mm-hmm. Why is the property management LLC so important? Because remember, you have rental property. Rental property is collecting rent. Mm-hmm. Where's the rent going? The rent
Right.
needs to go to the property management LLC. And why is the rent? The house is here, the rent's going here. Why is the rent going there? Because if somebody slips and falls in front of your property and they sue that holding, even though it's protected, they're going to freeze the assets. And what's the assets? The rent. But if you put a rent in a separate LLC that's separate from your name, the rent's safe. Nobody gets the rent. Now, how does this work? You're going to open up the property management LLC in the state you live in because you're going to be doing taxes with that one. So now that that's safe, that money's safe and sound. So now here's the structure. Acquisition, you want to buy a property? Here's all the great credit you need. Now, once you buy it, what you do? You're going to take the property, once you buy it, put it in a holding. Now it's protected. Now you got rent being collected. What you going to do with that rent? We want to take it out of there because we don't want to tarnish that. You're going to put it in there in case somebody tries to sue here. Now you're doing taxes there. And here's the luxury of this one. Now you're going to have a home office with that LLC. Now you can write off light, gas, percentage of your mortgage, rent, car mileage, trips, Home Depot, everything, because you're going to have a business credit card in that LLC. I make easy almost $10,000 writing off all that stuff. And now there's a thing called booking vacations. Say you want to buy a property in Florida. This is a great thing about being an out-of-state investor. I want to go to Florida, look at properties. What I do is I set up a RIA meeting on Thursday and a RIA meeting on Monday. I go to that meeting on Thursday. I got to stick around till Monday. What am I doing in between on the weekend? I'm on vacation. So now you could write off easy 50 to 70% of that by having that property management company right here. This is why this structure is so important. Everything is separate, but it's still all yours.
So own nothing, control everything.
There you go. I hope I broke that down good enough for everybody in the room.
Like,
Jeez.
wow.
3 must-have LLCs. If you want to know more about it, just go to my bio in my Instagram, and you can watch the video and get the course.
And so now let's talk about the taxes.
Oh man, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm
the
throwing you
taxes,
another
I love
alley-oop.
it. Yeah.
Let's talk about the taxes. So you're saying everything's going. You use that property management to funnel the taxes. That's
my tax.
That's where you write off everything and all of that stuff.
Yep. So now you're doing taxes for this one, and you're doing taxes for this one. The reason why you're doing taxes on this one because you're buying properties.
Mhm.
So once you buy the properties, you're going to be writing off certain things. You're going to be writing off the closing fees, the inspections, everything involved with buying a property. Those are write-offs, by the way, when you're doing that. So that's a write-off. But now with this one here, you're writing off all the other things I mentioned about trips and all the other stuff with taxes. Now, if you're employed and you have a job, what you want to do now, you want to do a pass-through taxes. So now that's it'll come to me. Your accountant always say, refer to your accountant for all the blah 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 legal jargon stuff, right? So what works for me may not work for you. But you're gonna have pass-through taxes. So now, let's say you're making, oh man, I gotta give you more game. Jesus, I hope y'all got enough real.
Nah, we do.
Now, let me give you some more games.
We good, Joe? All right, we good.
Now, once you have this LLC going and you have your home office, what you want to do is hire your children to work for your LLC at home. Like if you have an 8-year-old, your 8-year-old is doing chores around the house, he can now work for your LLC. In New York, I think the max is about $11,000 to $12,000 a year you can write off.
Correct.
So now what he's doing, he's cleaning up your office. He's cleaning up your office, which is doing chores around the house. So while you're giving him money, you're now taking off that $12,000 off of your salary to write off taxes. So if you were filing taxes for $60,000, now you're doing taxes for $48,000. That's $12,000 you're not getting taxed for. But now your kid is getting that money because he has a salary. So guess what? He's doing tax returns. So he can most likely get get a tax return check back. And also what's happening, you open up him a Roth IRA. You make sure he opens it up, not you. That's a custodial. He opens it up because he has to have a job. He's working for you. You make sure that he's putting at least $100 a month in there consistently until he becomes age where he can take over that IRA. For example, I think that's the age about 18 years old. 18, Once he put that money in at 18 years old and he says, I don't want to never put no more money in there. When he retires at 60 years old, he have about $300,000 in there. But if he was to continuously put money in there until he turns 50, and then once he turns 50, you can now increase that amount to, I think, it's $5,000 a year. At 50, it's about $7,000. If he was to continuously do that until he turns 65, he'd have almost $2 million. And here's the kicker, though. That ain't even the game.
Let's go. Let's hear it.
The game is that money can't be taxed because he opened up that IRA as a minor. It's non-taxable.
Wow.
Game.
You can't tax it. That's why it's best you have your child open up the IRA while they work for you. Because if you open up one for them and it's custodial, it can be taxed.
It can be taxed.
Come on, that's the game.
Sheesh.
And that money, he or she could pass that on to his kids.
He can pass that money on. But I'm going to give you one more quick gem. A child is a brand new baby. You got a brand new baby born. You put $5,000 in an IRA. You never touch it again. Brand new baby born. When that baby retires, it's $1 million. For one $5,000 when a baby is born. Let me slow that down. Baby is born. You got $5,000 in gifts people gave you for having a brand new baby. Put that in an IRA, and you never put another penny in there. When that baby retires, that baby turns 65 years old. That's $1 million waiting for him.
Wow.
And we saying that the information highway isn't available for us to change our lives?
Nah, I could see how InvestFest was so powerful, man. That's a lot.
And I've been holding on to this information for years. So I've been waiting for this kind of stuff.
And that's a great segue. I don't know if we spoke about it, but at what point you're working at Verizon, at what point when you said you're doing the businesses, you're investing in the real estate. Yeah. At what point you said I don't need to be a partner anymore with my 9 to 5? At what point, like, where did you know that you were good to go?
As soon as I matched my salary. Remember the goal, and I get this all the time because I'm mentoring a lot of people now, and they was like, let me start it off like this. I always ask them, I say, how much money would you need a month to quit your job? And people say, I want 20,000, 50,000 a month, 100,000 a month. I say, how much you making now?
Yeah, exactly.
6,000. So you're telling me you never want to leave work. The objective is to start making the amount of money you're making now to take back your time. And now that you have your time, you can now do the things that allowed you to be able to leave your job. Mm-hmm. Now I could buy houses on steroids. I learned partnering with people. And I tell people this is the biggest time partnering. And we're also going to go into the things that I talked about in InvestFest with some of my other counterparts about partnering.
Okay.
You know, partnering is the greatest thing we can ever do, man. Like we see people out here be these investors buying buildings, and we really think they buying these by themselves. When you hear somebody say, yo, I got 100 doors, he got partners. Right. No investor, none. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say none. Right. Says, I'm gonna take my $1 million and do this $1 million deal by myself. What they do is say, I got $1 million. I want to get in this deal over here for about 300,000 with these 10 people. I want to put another 400,000 in this other deal over here. And I want to put the rest over here in this other deal with these cats over here. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because all three of those deals are building equity faster. You have greater tax returns write-offs. And now when you're ready to exit strategy and sell, you're selling 3 different properties. They have an exit strategy. Mm-hmm. If you put all your money in one property and your exit strategy is in one property, okay, that's money in one property. You want to exit strategy in 3 or 4 different places. So the thing that we grew up learning was, yo, do it yourself, man. Don't rock with nobody. Don't partner with nobody.
Right.
Don't tell nobody where you get money at either. I grew up in the 70s, 80s and 90s getting money. Right. I ain't telling nobody where I get money at. Yo, watch. I'm getting money.
Right.
And that mentality has to change. And now it is changing. We sharing information, but what we're not doing is partnering to the maximum. I partner with Marvin Mitchell, Ash Cash. Us 3 started Path to Prosperity. We got together knowing that we're good separate, but we're a hell of a tandem together. We got together, we did this thing, and beautiful thing, we did a challenge. We put together a challenge. We had 780 people in our challenge. So 780 people signed on board to hear us talk about the things we do and how we can help them. Right? So now we just look at that number, 780 people at $300, whatever math that is, right? But now what we did was we put our programs together. My program at the time, I think was like 10,000, Ash, whatever number, Marvin 30, whatever. Mm-hmm. We said, yo, let's put our package together for everybody, and we're going to change the world because we need to understand that we dealing with premium people. Premium people. And I can't stress the importance of being premium people. Like, you can't expect to get the best results out of your life being cheap. We call it cheapo people. You can't be cheap. Like, you want to go somewhere and be like, yo, I need a new tire. And somebody talked about this in a mentorship class. His tire failed inspection. He went, guy was like, yo, you could get this tire right here. It ain't all the way bald. Get this tire. He went and got that tire, tried to get an inspection. He failed again. He went and said, no, I'm going to get a new tire. But when he went and said, I'm going to go to another spot, and another spot said, yo, this tire is damn near new. He bought another cheap tire, failed again. You can't be cheap because you're going to get the crap. That's what you're going to get. Yeah. So once we put our package together, our package was good price, but it's worth every penny because of what we provide. So we broke the record for sales that we're now going to be presented a ClickFunnels award. It's called a Double Click Award that they announced to us at InvestFest that they want to give to us.
Congrats.
We did over $7 million in one day, man.
Wow.
From funnels.
$7 million, man.
$7 million in one day.
And I'm happy. And you know what? It's comfortable to say that, and I don't feel bad because think how many lives we're changing. Think how many people believe in what we're doing. And the fact that we're not taking that money and saying, that's our money. No, that's the people money. Because what we did with that money, we built out $1 million systems. We took our courses. We built an online university with our courses. We invited other people with other courses into our courses with tracks. Not only do we do real estate, infinite banking, writing books, creating your own income, we also have people who do Torno. We have people who do Airbnbs. We have people who do Wi-Fi money to teach you how to make money. Like, we created one space where you can come in there without a plan and go, I want to start an online business, and you could take any track you want. What we also did was make it open to families. Like, you buy a course, and that's just for you. You can't. Nah, you can't. Your wife can't get in. Your husband can't. No. We made it, if you bought the course, your whole family is invited to take the course. Your whole family could take the course, because that's what we want, education. Because I solely believe that you can't have one person gaining knowledge in the house and be like, yeah, I got all the keys to change my family's life, and then he dies and it dies with him.
True.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's lunacy.
Yeah.
And all of that is through collaboration over competition.
Collaboration over competition, man. And now
Yeah.
the key for us, once we went to Invest Fest,
Yeah.
and now I'm going to tell y'all this story.
Yeah. Let's talk
I get
about
to
it.
Invest Fest.
Yeah.
You know, we all mentored by Myron Golden, one of the best on the planet. You guys look him up.
Yeah.
And we had several people come up. It's like, yo, man, y'all did that number. It's friendly competition, right? But I'll address that also. It's like, yo, we got to pass that number. But while I was there that night before, I had this vision. And I'm laying in the bed, and I'm like, I got to speak the next day. And I had a vision that we was in this arena, and I'm looking around at all these people, place packed to the bone, and I'm on the stage with me, Marvin, Ash, and all my other counterparts who doing the things we do to educate people. And all those people in the stands wasn't fans. Those were families, bro, whose lives we changed, man.
Wow.
Those were families. And we weren't on stage getting an award for money. We was on stage getting an award for changing their lives, B. So when somebody came up to me, it's like, yo, we want to change. We want to pass that number. I said, yo, passing that number is dope. But you know what would be cool? If we all got together and changed the world. He looked at me and said, yo, you different, man. I said, yo, that's truth, man. I said, even though it's friendly competition, just because you add the word friendly, we still competing, y'all. I ain't come here to compete. I left Verizon because I had a mission to change the world. I got with them and they got with me. We got together because Marvin and them know we here to change the world. Like, we can do an event right now that I would love to tell y'all the breakdown of it. We're going to do $20, $30 million. But only reason we're going to do that kind of money because the people who we impacting. That's why we're going to make that kind of money. Money follows intent. If your intention is impure, the results will be profit. It's just that simple. And that's just what I mean about being premium. You can't sit down and listen to everything we telling you how to change, how we change our lives and how you could change your lives and say, okay, I'm going to just Google and try to figure it out and go to YouTube. I highly recommend people get slightly educated in the process. But if you are enamored and you are now at all with yourself because you did something in 1 month and you're amazed, imagine if you would have paid somebody 20% of that and they would have did it in 1 day. You have time that you can never get back. The value in your life is time, and time isn't graded by money. When people say time is money, they lying. Because if you tell me time is money and I say, okay, I'll give you $10 million for all your time. What I'm saying is I want your life. You can go, oh, no, man. Because you know it's not. Time is defined by money, but it's how much money you can make in the shortest amount of time. If you tell me $1 million is a lot of money, I know I talk a lot, y'all.
No, go ahead,
right?
Bro. No,
I'm getting educated.
Right.
We in school, bro.
school
So
right
for
now,
the people,
bro.
just
Yeah.
talk.
You know what I mean? You know I
We
love
in
to talk.
class. We in class.
I've been waiting for these moments in life so I could do this thing right here for the world.
No doubt, bro.
So if somebody tells you, yo, you want to make $1 million, you be like, bet I want to make $1 million. But I tell you, yeah, you can make that $1 million in 12 months. And these teachings are all due to Myron Golden. Make $1 million in 12 months. That's a long time to make $1 million. But what if I say, yo, I can help you make $1 million in 6 months? Right? Oh, that sounds better. But what if I tell you, yo, I can show you how to make $1 million in 1 day? Now you're on to something. That's the value of time. The objective is to do something one time. You want to work, and get paid. That's the wrong thing. Work, get paid. Work, get paid. No, you want to work, get paid. Work, get paid. That's the mindset we need to have. Right. And the ideology of a job isn't the salary that makes you go to work. I repeat, I did not stutter. Your salary doesn't make you go to work. The fact that when somebody says, do you got a job? And you say, yeah, I got a job. That's what makes you go to work. The power of being able to say, I have a job. Because if somebody say, if you walk into work, everybody walk into work tomorrow and they say, instead of us laying everybody off, we're going to cut everybody's salary by 10%. Don't you know, probably nobody would quit? It's because it wasn't the salary. The job has the ultimate power over us, y'all. And when you learn that you take away the power away from the job, understand that you need to reverse the role and now say, how can I take that power back? Power now is defined in time. Time is now the 40-hour work week. And I'm going to let you in another little secret, and then I'm going to give y'all back the mic because I love to talk.
Oh, good.
You don't work 40 hours a week, B. When your alarm clock goes off, you're officially at work. When you get home from work, that's when you're off work. I work, bro. I was working 11-hour days, bro, because I didn't want to be in traffic. So people like, now what I want you to do is now say, if I get paid 40 hours a week, $20 an hour, but I really work 15 hours a week, how much are they really paying me to go to work? That $20 an hour shrink up to about $11, $13 an hour. That $100,000 salary, which everybody loves, I'm making $150,000. All right, let's minus taxes. That's 1/3. Now let's minus gas expenses and all other stuff. That's why I say when you want to quit your job and you get into investing in out-of-state real estate, whatever it is, and you have that number, I call it a financial freedom number. Your financial freedom number is whatever you're making now. You're just not making it freely.
Wow.
Ooh, that's powerful, bro.
Wow. Where you at, Rob? You here? You good?
He said, I'm done. Let's go, y'all.
Lost for words.
Legendary.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask. So, when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you think about?
Yo, see, I love that, right? My thoughts for the morning actually start at night because I'm really looking forward to, I know this is going to sound so whack, but I always look forward to like bettering yesterday. You know what I mean? Like what I did today, how can I cause that impact? You know, like it's not about, like I have a lot of assistants now. And what I mean, I have virtual assistants. I have regular assistants because I don't want to do anything. And it's not like I'm lazy. It's because my time is more valued doing what I'm doing right now, talking to people and changing the world so they can hear me. Right. And it's something I want to tell y'all. Like, even when you have a job, you quit your job, you start your own job, you still have a job.
Right.
Facts. Like, you working for yourself, which is super dope, because I did that. But the ultimate goal is to not have to do anything to make money. That's the goal, because our mind has to separate doing something physical to make money. And we can't make that separation when we go, all right, I'm going to start my own business and do work for myself, because you still working. You getting up, you doing something physical. What happened if you slip and fall? What happened if you break a hip? What happened if you can't make money no more? So the objective is to start off starting your own business to get it up and running, but then you want to automate that system, because remember what I said, you want to work, get paid, get paid, get paid. So once you automate your system, my system's on automation. My property managers, they all talk to my VAs. All my assistants, they talk through Slack, they talk through ClickUp. Everything goes through a system, because anytime, and this is so crazy because my VA hit me with this, right? When I first had to let go a lot of my systems, and she literally said, you have to let me do my job. She said the word job. Yeah. I said, so you mean I was working? When she said I got to let her do her job, I said, yo, bro, you still working if you keep doing this. Like every little facet, start running your business like it's a business. Emails, start being ready to give that to somebody else. Answering phone calls, delegating duties, because the best money that you can make is the money that you never have to get up and do anything for. Because now you have the freedom so people can see you. And now when they go, do you have a job? And you go, I don't have a job. They go, so you don't have a job? Because this is the face we make when people say, ill. And then they go, so what do you do? Like, how do you make money? Oh, I have my own business. But I always see you not doing it because it's automated. Like, I'm sitting here right now and I got over 30 people who get up every morning to go pay me rent. They don't know me. I don't know them. I don't go collect the rent. They don't call me if they locked out. I don't knock landlords either because I started out as a landlord. I just knew my growth was lateral being a landlord. Like you're only as big as your vision. And we said this before the mics was hot. Like when you said, did I ever envision everything that's taking place? And it was like, yeah, it's like now everything is catching up to my vision.
Right.
It finally is catching up to my vision because I always saw the bigger picture of how great we are as a people and what we can do. Of course, you're going to have those bad seeds or those bad situations. You just have to separate yourself from that automatically. Like there's going to be people automatically who are not going to see the vision and not going to believe. You have to separate yourself from them because those people will find that thing in you that they can push and make you believe in yourself. Like when I first wanted to buy my first house in 1995, my first brownstone in Clinton, Washington, 2 brownstones for $350,000. We know how much they're worth now.
Oh, yeah.
I took 2 people with me and I was going to buy those houses. When we went over there, I automatically had a list of 100 things. Reasons why. I took them. It was like, yo, shit is crazy over here, B. It was crazy crack. It's mad dark. I was like, yo, these houses paying rent. They're going to pay for themselves.
Right.
I wouldn't do it. I walked away because they touched on that one thing. You have to surround yourself with like-minded people who are going to do the things you want to do. And that's the power of being mentorships and being in the right group. If you think you're going to succeed by still doing the same thing with the same people, you're fooling yourself and lying to yourself. And if you think when you do succeed or you're getting some type of success that you're going to go back and save them, you're lying to yourself again. You want to save people? Don't come back. Swear to God. Let me tell you why. Because when you come back, there's 2 things happening. Either you're going to be a mark or they're going to go, you ain't make it because you came back. That's like facts.
Wow.
Because they're going to look and go, if he's so dope, why he here now?
Right.
Or I'm going to rob him. Or like, he ain't all that. It's like, I'm not saying that to be negative. What I'm doing is right now at this space and time, what I saw in InvestFest lets me know I can't pull my punches on what I got to say to the world. Yo, I need y'all to step your game up. I need you to literally look at the person next to you in your life and your relationship and make a sound decision to go, are they built for this? Are they ready to take this journey with me? Are they ready to change their lives? Because if you hear, and these group of people here, and you say, I'm going to come back here, what are you doing, bro?
Right.
You going back down to where you just came from.
Right.
You're not going down and they're going to ride with you back up because they're going to say, oh, yo, he came back down. They want to hear you at that level. But if you hear, and now you're forcing them to come up here.
Yeah.
That's facts.
100%.
I tell people the first time I got married, right, in 1997, I had to say to myself, is this person have my best interest in mind? Because they wanted me to work, get paid. I already knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just had to figure it out. I got divorced within a year. You know why? Because they wanted something I didn't want. The hardest decision I ever made in my life, but the best decision I ever made for both of us. I literally had to go, this ain't gonna work. You want something I don't want. It's not gonna work. Could you imagine that?
Tough. Yeah.
That's real.
That's tough.
But you have to say to yourself, my objective in life is not to make myself miserable, to make somebody else happy. Because if someone could watch you be miserable while they're being happy, they don't have your best interest in mind.
That's true.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can keep going, bro.
It's funny that you say that. I'm sorry. It's funny that you say that when you said you can't come down to their level because they're going to look at you crazy. So I kind of relate in a way where you're setting the comps in your real estate.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? You're setting comps in real estate. When you buy a house, you're not gonna come down. Your prices are not gonna be down. You putting all the great everything, walls, ceilings, painting.
Yeah.
Nah, you gotta set that tone. You gotta set that bar high. Yeah. So it's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, that's dope.
That's dope. That's dope. We spoke about.
Yeah, I know some things I forgot that we're supposed to be talking
about.
No,
it's cool. We're bringing it back. We're gonna bring it back just a little bit. We spoke about LLCs. We spoke about taxes. I want you to talk about another one of the passion of yours that you talk about. That I hear you talk about a lot. Trust.
Man, He hitting all the spots.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it, like trust and protection and generational, how that can protect your family and pass that on for generations.
Yeah.
And
Trust,
generations.
like once my mind got into the space of changing my life and changing my legacy, the way to do that was through a trust. Right? In 2019, I created my first trust. I've never been the same mentally after going through that, because I realized when I was doing this paperwork, and I said to myself, this is the proper procedure. We always say, I want to leave this for my kids and do this and do that.
Right.
But the worst thing you could ever do is leave everything to your children, especially when it comes to real estate. The worst assumption to be made is that your kids want to be landlords. They want to be in real estate. I had a friend of mine, a friend of a friend, he died. Bunch of real estate. His kids sold all his properties for pennies on a dollar. Millions of dollars. They made a couple of $100,000 because they didn't want to be real estate. They didn't want to be landlords, and they didn't know the value of the properties. So he had a $600,000 property, for example, and I know an investor friend who actually was a shark, and he had said, "I'll give y'all $250 for it."
Wow.
They took $250.
Wow.
Because there's like $250,000. That's a lot to them, not realizing they just want to get rid of it.
Yeah.
See, that's the bad assumption. So the thing is, now if you have a trust and all your properties in a trust, now you could dictate what happens. For example, my trust structure is set up where once I pass away, all of my properties that are investment properties, not my long-term holds, those are to be sold. Those are to be sold. That money would go into a brokerage account. A brokerage account is set up not for my family, not for my immediate family, that's for my grandkids. Let's use round number like $1 million. Like $1 million go into a brokerage account for my grandkids, because my immediate family has my life insurance policies. They have other assets that are going on. So that $1 million go into a brokerage account, gaining 6% interest for my grandkids when they turn 21. And I'm going to show you the power of compound interest, by the way. You have $1 million in a brokerage account in the name of your trust. All this will work because the name of your trust. Grandkids turn 21, 6% interest. That $1 million now turns into $3.7 million, around something like that. So they get that when they turn 21, your grandkids. But you're not giving your grandkids all the $3.7 million. You give them half. You give them about, let's say, about $1.5 million.
Okay.
$1.5 million, roughly, these are all averages. $1.5 million stays in that brokerage account till your great grandkids are born. Now, your great grandkids, they get that money when they turn 21. $1.7 million, $1.7 million now going to your grandkids. That turns again to about another $5.something million. $5 million to your great grandkids. They get half. That's about $2 million, a little over $2 million, $2.5 million for them. Now 2.5 stays in for your great grandkids. 2.5 now turns into about time forward, then that's about $7.8 million. Wow. You see what I mean? This is the power of compound interest, and Rockefeller is doing this now. He paid out 13 generations using compound interest and trust. But I'm going to give you even deeper game. I'm going to give you some more game on top of that. The way that this keeps working is I just showed you if I do it and how it trickles down. Now, what if, like Rockefeller structure, he had a trust for every one of his kids and grandkids. So now if I have a trust and I pay out my kids and then I pay my grandkids, what if now I have a trust and my kids have a trust? Now my grandkids get paid twice from my trust and their trust. Now my grandkids, but now if I got a trust, my kids got a trust, and my grandkids got a trust, and my grandkids are born, they get paid 3 times from my trust, my kids' trust, and my grandkids' trust, and my That's the power. And now I'm gonna give you more game that Rockefeller, what he does. You have life insurance policies on everybody in the trust, and you create your trust, and your trust is a bank. Everybody has a policy, whole life. They want to start a business, they talk to the trustees, they have a business model, they borrow money from the trust to start their business, and when anyone dies, that money is in the trust. They have their own bank. The biggest, let me say this to the camera too. You don't understand how much money you have and how much value you have when you look at it as money. The most value you have in life is the air you breathe. The day you die, you're worth so much money to everybody around you. Don't you know that there are families, Italian families, Jewish families, they must put policies on their elders, aunts, grandmothers, grandfathers, and that money now is funding the family's future. We look at it like it's some curse. You must do this. Have life insurance policies And everything I told you, man, I got game. Let me give you some more game.
Go ahead, go for it.
Go ahead, man.
We here.
Now, what I just told you, how to do $1 million structure, is from me because I have properties.
Mhm.
What if I told you could do this with $100? What if I told you could do the same thing with $1 million for $100? How do you do that?
Get a life insurance policy.
Term life policy for $1 million for $100 a month. $100 a month, $1 million policy. You just do everything I said. Same thing. But you know what the problem is? We hear so much people talking about, yo, you make sure you get a whole life policy so you can make money off the policy. But not everybody can afford whole life.
Right.
My whole life policy costs me about $3,000 a month. Who can afford $3,000 a month?
Mm-hmm.
So until then, get yourself a policy for your children until you now got your business going. Now you switch to a whole life. And even those that have a whole life, I'm going to give you some more G. We have whole life policies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you have $1 million policy. You got a property worth about $700,000. You got about $500,000 left on the mortgage. Yo, you know how many people forget that when they die, they got to pay that mortgage off?
Mm-hmm.
You got $1 million policy you think going to your family. You die. Mortgage is $500,000 left on the mortgage. $500,000 went to the house so they could live in it. You only left them $500,000. How do you fix that problem? Get you a term life policy for $1 million for the house. So that $1 million could go to the family. Now you got the term that you paying $50 or $100. You die, they taking it out the term. That $1 million go to the family. And now that $500,000 paid the house off, you got $500,000 left over. Where's that going? People, to the brokerage account for your grandkids to start the process. Don't tell me you can't do this no more. Straight up. You paying cell phone insurance, car insurance, but ain't got life insurance. Whose man's is this? We in a different era. Yeah, man, y'all rock out. What were we talking about?
Wow. Hey, my next question was life insurance, and you kind of covered that.
I covered the trust, right?
Yeah. You covered it.
But the trust. This is my question about the trust.
Yeah, do it.
And trust and holding LLC. What's?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
People get confused about putting a property in a trust and an LLC. That's where you're going, right?
Yes.
The trust is strictly designed to put your primary residence in a trust, the main house you live in. You can't put your primary residence that you live in the LLC. It has to go in a trust. Investment properties go in the LLC. You can take your investment properties after you put them in LLC and put them in a trust. Okay. But I wouldn't go about that if it's not a property you plan on keeping. There's two different types of trust, by the way. There's revocable and irrevocable. Mm-hmm. Revocable, you can do whatever. Revocable, you can change who the beneficiary is. You can take the property out. You can sell the property.
You can break it.
You can do anything. You can once you literally anything because it's revocable. Mm-hmm. Irrevocable, I always recommend putting a property that you plan on keeping in your family forever because you can sell the property, but that money has to stay to the beneficiaries. You can't change them. You can't alter that. It's irrevocable. Now, revocable goes to irrevocable when you die, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of nuances to it, but it's not complicated. Like the thing is, I tell you, you don't need to know everything. You just need to be able to pay the right people to know everything. Mm-hmm. Just pay them. Stop trying to do everything.
Figure it out yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Like when you realize this is a key thing, and I'm gonna fall back to that. When you realize that the value of money is in your time, anytime you want to do something, you be like, it's gonna take me a week. Who can I pay to do it now? Like that's my brain. If I'm sitting down and somebody says, "Yo, we got to take care of something," and we gotta, all right, who can we call? And I pay them. If somebody tell me right now, Storm, I got $1 million deal for you. This is what we need to do. Ba 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 ba. Boom 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 boom. I'm gonna say, all right, now I'm gonna find somebody I can pay $200,000 to do everything you told me I need to do, and I'm gonna take $800,000.
Yeah.
Because of my time.
It's right.
And that person to take $200,000 for me to let them do that. We got to stop thinking we need to make it all. I tell people, you got to look at investment in business. Like when you watch movies and they rob banks and you see people running in, they take the bundles of money off the shelf and the money's falling on the floor. They don't go back for the money on the floor. We came here for the bundles of money on the shelf.
Wow.
I didn't come here for that money falling on the floor. Whatever's falling on the floor, you can have that. I want the bundle.
Powerful.
Dope.
Wow. That was a mic drop right there.
Hey, we here, man.
100%.
Wow, bro.
Change the world.
Talk about the courses. Talk about September 10th. You've got an awesome event happening next month.
Dope.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all be airing this by September 10th, though. You know, y'all got editing and everything. You know?
It'll be up way before.
Absolutely.
Right, Joe?
There you go.
September 10th.
Yeah.
I'm doing an event in Brooklyn, New York. It's going to be, I don't want to give it a location, but it's going to be in a beautiful spot down by the water. It's a mastermind. It's going to be me, my partner Ash Cash, my other partner Marvin Mitchell, the Path to Prosperity, my folks. And we're also going to have some special guests that I don't want to announce yet. That's going to be there, definitely coming to the bill. And it's really conversation about changing your life and being prepared for the recession. Like, the conversation that the recession has finally hit is old. The news lies to us. Like, the recession been here.
Yeah.
What they've been doing is preparing their bank account, their life for the recession, and they didn't want us to go make a run towards the bank and act crazy. Like, we have to understand that we've always been spoon-fed knowledge and information, and I don't want to get off track because I love to talk about topics, especially news and the framing of news, and I'll just touch on that. Information has been framed for you to focus on what's in the frame, but you need to get into the mindset of looking around what's outside of the frame that they're not telling you. Right. Anytime I watch information being given to me, provided for me, I always go, okay, why are you telling me and what are you hiding from me? That's the key thing that we need to understand and value. Right. But September 10th, we're going to get together to give you so much game and knowledge on that day. We have a VIP going on where we're doing sprinters to a very private location in the city, overlooking the city.
That's hot.
Great dinner to talk and share knowledge. And I'm looking for that. We got another event, Path to Prosperity, in October that's being done in Miami. It's going to be like 4,000 people. We have some of the most powerful speakers in the world coming out. And the objective is to change lives. You can go to employedmillionairenyc.com for the September 10th event to get the remaining tickets.
And Southpaw City is going to be in the building.
Yeah. These guys finally allowed me to work with them. They're taking me in. I've finally been accepted into the Haitian community. I've worked real hard and I've done my due diligence. I kept my head down and stayed focused, and they're accepting me into the family. It took me to do a lot of shows, 500,000 views, Invest Fest, EYL, but you know what? We're going to do it, man. They're going to be in the building.
Oh, absolutely. Man. Can't wait.
The dude said, oh, I'm down now? Because the first time we met.
Watch his face.
First time we met, he was like, oh, I can't be on your podcast because I'm not Haitian?
That's the word I got from everybody. It's like
Wiz.
What's up? Because everybody meet me go, yo, Storm, you Haitian? I say, nah, man. I'm like from the South. Damn, man. I'm like, yo, whoa, like that, like damn, like yo, bro. We got the complexion for the connection.
Yeah, bro.
Nah, man.
And you from Brooklyn. We all from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, stand up, man.
All day.
Brooklyn, we made it. In the words of
all good. Before you get out of here, I think it's time for the surprise question of the day.
Surprise question.
Man.
Yeah. We didn't ask. So when again?
You know, one question is going to lead to a whole new podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Go for it.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This
is you.
There we go.
Open it up.
I got to open it?
Yeah.
What's it say?
Yo, they tested my reading skills, y'all.
Get somebody to read it.
What's it say?
If you could blast into space in Bezos' rocket, would you? Man, let me see. If I could blast into space in Bezos' rocket, would I? I'm going to say yes.
And why so?
I want to see the world, what it really looks like from space. I just really want to see it. Like, I'm big on vision.
You were talking about vision and media and framing, all that. You see it in a different frame.
So I've saw the pictures of what the world looks like from space. I think me seeing it for myself would take me to another level. emotionally, spiritually, goals. Like once I actually look at the planet and see the billions of people walking around on that thing, and I go, yeah, I still got a lot of work to do. Because when I walked through InvestFest, seen thousands of people, I said, damn, I got a lot of work to do. When I'm on stage and people walk up to me and say this stuff, like imagine me looking at the planet. You know, it's weird because I always look at it as time. Like I can't like my time, our time. We live between the bookmarks of the now. When the doctor tells your mother to push now, and when that higher being that we don't know says, I'm taking you now. The part about it is we don't know the time in between when he says now. So I'm trying to squeeze in so much work in between that now that I have to get it done. The sense of urgency is time because we don't know. And when you sit around and you know you have goals and dreams and you saying to yourself, I'm going to get around to it. I'm going to get around to it. You never get around to it. And you crippled or you happen to still be, you unfortunately you're maimed and you're still around to see when you were vigor, had your vigor. And you say, man, I remember when I was a guy. What? I don't want to be in that space. I want to really live to do as much as I can so I can leave my footprints in the sand for my legacy.
No regrets.
Like the journey. Us sitting here without like doing what we're doing literally is a speck in time. What gives it value is what we're doing. Like this conversation is going to reverberate through time while we're not here. Right. Like I had this discussion with somebody and he was looking at pictures of us doing something. And I said, y'all have to understand the magnitude of what's going on. Y'all see pictures, but I see evolution. Because when I searched my family tree, I couldn't find pictures, or I was finding black and white images and finding like my great grandmother and stuff like that. And I said, our great grandkids are still going to have social media looking at pictures like we are alive. They're going to be looking at video like from yesterday.
Yeah.
Do you realize how powerful that is? That they're going to have audio, video of everything we're doing now, and kids could look at it and go, when was that? Oh, that was about 50 years ago. Wow. That was about 70 years ago. That was about 100 years ago. What did you say and what did you do 70, 100 years ago that will even make you worthy for them to click play on that video?
Powerful.
It's powerful, man. You get that mindset.
That's powerful, bro. You're right. You're right.
We don't think this far at times. Like growing up, you know,
the vision needs to expand.
Yeah, it needs to expand.
My father. I don't want to get started, but I'll keep us going. Y'all just got to tell me the That's where my vision come from.
No doubt.
Told you what he did, how he worked.
Yeah.
I heard the stories of the South. My father went through, my great uncles told me stories. There's 10 of us kids, but all my mother, my father, they always would sit me down and tell me stories like they knew I would be that guy.
Wow.
You know, my father and them. Can I keep going or y'all? What we doing? We stop it? Let's stop. So I'm getting ready to go to a story.
Yeah.
You know?
Go ahead.
So, really? We could go?
We could go a few more minutes. We got another guest coming soon, but go ahead. Finish up. Yeah. Go ahead. Finish your point. Yeah.
Like my father and them told me a scenario. They used to have sock hops back in the barns, and black people would get together and some white people come. So these white kids would come to the sock hop parties. Nothing you could do. It was highly racist in the South, but they were causing trouble. So my father and his brothers, they was like, oh, where is this? You know, they got tired of it. So the kids actually chased my father and his brothers in a car behind them all through the dirt roads, and my father and them veered in a cornfield, and they drove past them, right? But my father and them, after they came out, went back to the sock hop. Like one of the kids knew my father and my father's family and stuff like that. And there was a major repercussion behind it I don't want to announce in the air, like life-changing stuff. And that story about that, like my father, like when you can hear certain stories and certain things they tell you and it hits you and you go, well, they just dragged a man behind a van in Florida couple years ago. Like they're still doing this to us now.
Mm-hmm.
They still doing stuff like that to us now.
Right.
What are we doing to change that now? If they're still doing that back then 40 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, and nothing's changed. We have cameras showing us being shot in the back, kneeled on and everything. And it's like, you mean to tell me this is as good as it get for us? There has to be something more. So I always try to inject that thing in my brain where I go, all right, my mission is to change. My mission is to find people like me. And also my mission is to protect people like us at all costs. We have to protect each other who think like this at all costs. Because it's people like us, eventually, who speak this way, the other people are going to go, all right, I don't like him.
Right.
People literally do not like you and me because we're not like them.
Right.
And we're trying to educate. You got your own show. I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
And it's scary that they would want to do something to us because we are thinking about the big picture for our people.
Wow. Bro, applause.
Bro.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate being here, man.
Thank you.
This was big. Very
Appreciate it,
informational. Hope everybody had their pen and pads, taking copious notes.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, man.
This was deep, bro.
I look forward to y'all give my Instagram and stuff, man.
Yeah,
Stuff like
yeah,
that.
for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, just let them know your Instagram. Let them know where they can check you out.
Damn, I drew a blank. Oh, I am Storm Leroy. I am Storm Leroy on Instagram. You can go to employeemillionaire.com to find out more. The Employee Millionaire is the movement. It's not just being a millionaire in wealth. It starts with working and mentally knowing you're a millionaire to move forward in life, guys. I appreciate being here in your time.
No doubt. And we'll see you at the conference.
You're
No doubt.
You're visionary.
No doubt.
That's
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Just the beginning for you, bro.
Rob,
Appreciate
housekeeping items.
Housekeeping items. Team Sock by Say Podcast. Team Sock by Say Podcast on all social media platforms. Down here, remember, YouTube, you'll see all of I Am Storm Leroy's information.
Yep.
Links, whatever you need. It'll be right down there. Subscribe, please subscribe so we can change this algorithm.
No doubt.
And sponsors, thank you, Roots of Brooklyn. We appreciate you guys. Thank you, Sweet 1041. And you can also watch this episode and other episodes on 10WA TV.
No doubt.
10WA TV, shout out to Sandy Kane, Ruby. We love you guys. Thank y'all so much. Storm.
Yes, sir.
We thank you, brother.
We did it.
Man, I appreciate it, man.
Finally.
We did it.
Bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Ready for September.
Yes.
We lit.
Yeah,
We lit.
Let's do it.
Team Sock by Say. We out.
We out.
Say Sock by Say.
We out.
Why you work so hard? Because I'm trying to get some money, punk. Man, why you keep calling these people? Because I'm trying to get what I deserve.
If you haven't wrote down your goals, if you never envision it, it will never happen. So if you haven't wrote down your goals, you need to manifest that and speak it to existence, because the Bible says, speak those things that are not as though they are.
Everything that you've ever wanted, everything that you've ever desired, any dream, any aspiration, all of it is now going to take shape.
Knew the importance of keeping your job because your job is your first business partner.
Wall Street looks like us now. It's a battle cry. Wall Street looks like us now. It's the equalizer.
If you can start training your brain to start thinking about solutions to problems and challenges rather than letting them slow you down, you are going to dominate this life.
And when I learned that selling is not about convincing people to do something they don't want to do, selling is about empowering people and freeing people from their inhibitions so that they can do something they already desire to do.
I cried too much to settle. I prayed too long to settle. I fought through too much to settle. I didn't make it through COVID to settle. I'm ready to step into everything that God's got for me.